Wow, this is it. The Hall of Shame. Each of these pictures is special to me. I don't know what these people are doing now. Some may have cleaned up their act. Some may still be getting into trouble. But at one time, each of these folks did something that landed them in the hall. It's the dog-flipping weirdo, Rick Sherman. Lock in, fam. All this guy's trying to do is change the subject, and he's hiding behind Jesus to do it. I'm not here to talk about God. I'm here to talk about dogs. People say Rick knows enough about dogs to trick them out of theirs to sell to somebody else. This is Susie the dog. Cheryl placed an ad on Craigslist asking if anyone would adopt Susie. No charge, just promised to give her a good, forever home. Her first call was from Rick Sherman and his wife Maria.
They sounded like wonderful people. We're going to keep her inside. We have a nice fenced-in yard. So it just sounded perfect.
Rick and Maria drove up to Cheryl's house in their shiny black Cadillac. Said they wanted the dog to keep as a pet forever. Cheryl went to bed that night happy, knowing Susie had a nice new home. But the next morning, Cheryl broke into tears when she saw this ad on Craigslist. It's Susie, for sale for $125.
If you look at the picture, she looks so sad. And I felt duped.
Cheryl and her family drove to Rick and Maria's house, determined to get Susie back. But Susie was already sold. And the nice church-going couple, Rick and Maria, now weren't so nice.
Maria right away got on the phone and called 911 and called the police on us. And her husband laughed in my face and told me, "You invited me into your home and you gave me your dog and there's nothing you can do about it." And he started laughing at me.
Cheryl went home and wrote a tearful plea on Craigslist. A plea that was seen by the person who'd bought the dog, Nicole.
And I saw some frantic posts from someone saying, "Whoever adopted the Labradoodle from East Point last night, please contact me."
Nicole didn't know what to make of it. She just bought Susie from a nice religious couple named Rick and Maria for $125. Claimed they'd had Susie since she was a puppy.
They said that they were moving.
They were moving all right, moving dogs. Nicole contacted Cheryl and realized everything Maria had told her about Susie was bogus.
Oh, she lied. She lied to me and my 5 children standing right beside me. It's just unbelievable.
This is Barbara. A year ago, Rick and Maria answered her dog post on Craigslist.
They said they were going to keep the dog forever?
Yes, that was what we were told.
But when Barbara tried for months to check up on the dog she had to give away, no one at the Sherman home answered.
No response.
Barbara has no idea where her dog ended up.
She said she was religious and she had to move and she didn't want to get rid of the dog, but she had to.
Melody and her husband Bobby paid $275 for this dog from Rick and Maria in December.
Gave her the money and she couldn't give me the dog fast enough, jumped in her car and was gone. No goodbye to the dog. I immediately knew something was wrong or fishy.
Even though Maria said the dog hadn't been neutered, it still had stitches from surgery, and it looked similar to a dog Bobby had seen a few days earlier on Craigslist. Bobby contacted that dog's owner, and guess what? He said he'd placed the dog with Rick and Maria, who promised it a lifelong home. I started bird dogging Rick and Maria's house, and sure enough, I saw dogs, different dogs. And even when you just Google Maria's phone number, all kinds of dog wanted ads show up. Time for me to find out what's going on, doggone it.
You running a dog business here? Maria.
Excuse me.
Hey, I'm trying to ask you some questions. Are you running a dog business here?
Maria runs inside and calls the cops, just like she did to Cheryl. Now here comes the big dog.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good, how are you, Rick?
Excuse me?
You're Rick, right?
What's your name?
I'm Rob Wolchek from Fox 2.
Hey, nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Hey, I want to ask...
Have you received Jesus Christ as your Savior?
Can't say I was expecting that. Rick decides he's the one who's gonna do the talking. So I let him talk.
I'm asking you, have you received Jesus Christ as your Savior?
I sure have.
And talk.
Have you ever witnessed to somebody about Jesus? Or are you ashamed of Jesus? You just said you were a Christian, but now you won't talk to me about Jesus. So you're ashamed about Jesus.
And talk.
I love Jesus. Do you love Jesus?
I love Jesus.
Have you ever witnessed
I
anybody
also
about
love
Jesus?
listening to somebody tell me the truth
Okay,
about
I'm telling
what's
you the
going on.
truth.
Rick, come on and answer some questions.
No,
I want to
I'm
ask
asking
you
you a
about this
question.
dog stuff.
I'm asking you a
okay?
question.
I want to find out about the dog
I don't know
stuff,
anything about
okay?
dogs, but I'm concerned about your soul.
Maria keeps popping in and out, but neither her nor Rick are answering any questions about their dog business.
I don't know anything about dogs, but I know a lot about Jesus.
By now, Rick's drawn the attention of his neighbors.
Hey, everybody, I'm concerned with your soul. If you haven't repented and believed in Jesus,
How'd you like to live next to this guy?
but it's your opportunity to, as a Christian, to try to get this out on the air right now before the cops come, that Jesus Christ is Lord and that people need to believe in Him.
They're gonna put you in a rubber suit, dude. That's what they're gonna do.
Put me in a rubber suit for Jesus.
Brother.
Rick Sherman may have never worn a rubber suit, but he has worn a prison suit. Yep, old religious Rick the Dog Man spent 5 years in the doghouse. In 1997, Rick pled guilty to 2 counts of felony assault with bodily harm less than murder. Now Rick's out of prison. What would Jesus do? I guarantee you, it wouldn't be tricking people out of their dogs.
Rick and Maria, you may think you're going to heaven, but I got a place you can stay until you get there. You're in the Hall of Shame.
Mike Skupin, what a loser this guy is. Survivor. It's one of the most popular reality TV shows ever.
Mike from Survivor.
And Mike Skupin,
If I go out, I'm going out full.
who stabbed a pig to death to survive in season number 2, wants to change your life forever with Pay It Forward, a simple investment.
People say, how can it be legal? What's the product? The product's just money.
Mike Skupin is a star. He's the author of a book, Fireproof, named for his most famous survivor exploit when he passed out in a campfire. Thousands of people follow him on Twitter. His website is packed with photos of himself with Bill Gates, President Bush, Pat Robertson. You can buy customized Mike Skupin Survivor shirts. He even sells an 8x10 glossy of himself. Mike's a motivational speaker.
How to get closer to God. How to get your prayers answered.
He talks about his victories in life. He even speaks at events like this one 2 months ago. Celebrate your marriage.
You're going to love what I have to tell you about blended families.
Yeah, you can get marriage advice from Mike. He's even considered running to be a United States Senator. But Mike's too adventurous for that. He went back to Survivor, played another season a couple of years ago. But again, he didn't win the show. But he did win more fans, and now his fans can share in his new business, if they have a little money.
I have made so much money in home-based business. I've been in it for 33 years.
And you don't have to sell anything.
But the product's money. The product's just money.
You just hand over your money to Mike. Deposit it into Mike Skupin's Fifth Third bank account, Bank of America bank account, or his Chase bank account. Cough up some dough and you'll get put on this kind of pyramid-looking chart. Mike assures you this pyramid-shaped business is legal, and you can trust him, right? Well, I did some investigating, and I gotta tell you, Mike Skupin seems like the last guy you'd want to trust with your money. This is Mike's lakefront property, or should I say, it used to be Mike's property, but Mike hasn't made a mortgage payment in 18 months, so the house was taken away and sold in a sheriff's sale last May, but Mike's refused to leave. In August of this year, the IRS slapped Mike with a $52,000 tax lien. So Mike's a big-time tax dodger, but at least he's not a deadbeat dad. Well, actually, according to his second wife's bankruptcy filing, second wife? Wait a minute. Mike Skupin's the happily married guy with 7 kids. He might be happily married. After all, third time's a charm. He has 7 kids from 3 different wives, and it hasn't all been smooth sailing. Just last week, Mike Skupin tried to get sympathy from the judge overseeing his eviction case, saying he can't move out of the house he lives in because he has 7 school-age children. Well, none of his kids live with him in this house.
Call in the case of People versus Michael David Skupin, case number 13003452.
Sometimes Mike shows up for court. Sometimes he doesn't, especially when he's been arrested.
Defendant has failed to appear. Bench warrant will issue. Bond is forfeited.
Seems Mr. Survivor has had a lot of run-ins with Mr. Policeman while behind the wheel. Scoopin's had so many driving arrests, they've suspended his license for the umpteenth time. Let's pay Mr. Survivor a visit. I see him heading to the mailbox, but by the time I get to his door, he won't answer. So I contact Mike Scoopin on Facebook. Hi, Mike, I came by your house today to talk to you. Would like to ask you a few questions. Can we set up an interview? Mike replies, hey, Rob, sure, hit me up next week. I'm on the West Coast till about midweek. That's funny. He doesn't look like he's on the West Coast. I keep trying to set up a meeting. Mike keeps saying he's out of town. Well, he's in town, because here he is coming out of court.
All right, fill me in on this pay it forward thing.
You know, I wanted you to do a little bit of research on it before you, What would you like to know?
Well, tell me about it. It's an investment deal?
Nope.
Gee, it says it's a simple investment that will change your life forever. But Mike now says it's an internet cycler, whatever that is.
There's hundreds of them all over the internet, run by very reputable people. They've been going around for years.
Who's a reputable person that's running one?
There's hundreds of them. I don't know the business owners.
So what is the business?
Internet cycler, which you don't know anything about, which
Okay,
I was
well,
going
then
to
why don't you
inform
tell
you
me?
so we could have had a good interview here.
Okay, well, let's have a good interview. I'm giving you the chance. Let's talk,
I don't
Mike.
know if you really are.
Sure, I'm giving you the chance right now.
You're an ambusher.
So what? Let's talk about it right now.
You're unethical the way you even got
Mike,
here.
I came to your house. Didn't I come to your house? Didn't I knock on your door?
I offered to meet with you at a specific time. I was going to educate you on what this was all about.
But you also lied to me.
You decide to ambush me the way that you do.
Okay.
So, how did I lie to you?
You lied to me because when I went to your house the day you were there, I know you were there because I saw you go to the mailbox before I knocked on your door. So I know you were there. I could hear you inside your house. So you lied to me about that. You've been lying about how you've been out of town.
And you're not lying?
How am I lying? What am I lying about? What am I lying about? What am I lying about?
Just the whole way that you go about doing business. It's not a Ponzi scheme.
Okay. What is the business then?
I don't even know what a Ponzi scheme is, do you?
Yes, I do know what a Ponzi scheme is.
Well, then if you did any research
this
at all,
looks like a Ponzi scheme.
Now I start reading directly from Mike's Pay It Forward literature.
The Attorney General assures us we are in complete compliance. Which Attorney General said this?
do your research.
Who said this?
Do your research, Rob.
Mike, I've done my research. I've been to the Attorney General's office.
It's a legitimate business. And you know what? I'm helping hundreds and hundreds of people. And people like you, instead of doing legitimate research, you're out for a news story.
I don't think you're helping anybody, Mike. How are you helping anybody? You can't even help yourself. You're here in court today. You're here in court today because you have a court. You can't even pay the mortgage on your house. You're losing your house.
I can't.
You're
even
a
pay.
bum.
That's not even
You're
true.
a bum, Mike. You are a bum. You don't pay for your house. You don't even have a driver's license. You're walking to your car right now. You're going to get in your car. You don't even have a driver's license.
It's not true.
You don't have a house. You lied to me about you don't live in that house, yet you're here fighting to save that house. You're a loser. You were a loser on Survivor. Weren't you a loser on Survivor? And now you're using whatever fame you got from Survivor to try to rook people into your investment deal so you can make money, so you can survive.
This is going to look so good for you because you get another fake news story, which of
What's
course
fake
you're going
about
to
it,
edit
Mike?
Out. Of course you're going to edit out
What
your
am I
fake
going to edit
stuff.
out?
All your fake stuff, all your phony stuff.
Mike avoids his car, which we saw him drive up in, and starts the famous Hall of Shamer walk to nowhere.
Okay, where are we going to, Mike? You got something to say? I'm not going to walk all the way down to the park.
Yes, you are. Yeah, you are. I've seen you. I've seen you, Rob. You're going to keep walking and you're going to keep filming, and this is great.
No, I'm not going to keep walking.
Yes, you are.
Do you have anything else you want to say?
To you?
Yeah. To the viewers out there. Because you're going to be on TV.
I know, Rob, I know it's what you do. And you know what? You're going to edit this so it makes you look good.
Hey.
And you can do your fraud.
Hey.
Oh, shame.
With that, Mike Scoopin heads off into town and into, you know where, the Hall of Shame. Fani Khalif is a cone-throwing fool. These people all needed money. They needed jobs. Each was handed one of these flyers from someone on the street, which promised just that. Cockrell Employment Services is now hiring for letter carriers and customer service. Dominique gave the Cockrell Agency a call.
She said that the job was working at a post office, receiving and sorting out mail.
Sounded great, but when Dominique went to the Cockrell Agency, she was told a different story.
She said that what we're really going to be doing is she's going to give us flyers, and we're going to go door to door in our neighborhood and give people the flyers so they can come in for an interview.
Steve says the same thing happened to him. So your whole job was just to hand out these flyers?
Papers, and I handed out at least 500 to 600 papers in about a month.
Jamila fell for it too.
The flyers say the same thing that I got. It said we're hiring for more letter carriers and more customer service people. So that's when the light went in my head, like, so you want us to get more, where's the job?
That is the job. Seems to be the only job Cockrell Employment Services offers. Handing out these flyers to lure more people down to their office to get a job, handing out these flyers. So how's the Cockrell Agency making money off this? By convincing everyone who comes into their office to buy one of these t-shirts.
This is what I got for 30 bucks.
That's a bad looking shirt.
$30 for this.
Everyone had to buy a Cockrell Services shirt. One size fits all.
6 extra grande.
Right.
6XL.
And while the shirts may have been huge, the pay sure wasn't. In fact, many told me they never got paid at all.
I worked for them for almost close to 30 days and didn't get a dime.
Blake's the only one I talked to who says he got a paycheck. It was for $8.
I tried to deposit it in my bank account. They sent it back to me. Said that they don't even have an account.
I send an undercover camera person into Cockrell Employment Services' Southfield office. The place is a madhouse. Everyone gets hired. Everyone has to buy a $30 shirt.
Uniforms over here.
Time for me to put on my uniform and go to work. But as you'll see, my job today won't be the typical 9 to 5.
Hey there, I'm from Fox 2. I need to talk to you guys. I got this thing.
One second. One second.
Hold on. Okay, I got this thing from. Says you guys have.
But by the time I turn the corner, I run into this guy.
Take your camera off. Take your camera off.
Hey, don't touch.
Take the camera.
I just want to ask some questions.
Don't ask the question. Take the camera down, all right? Break it. Put it down. Don't put it on my face.
So whose face is this?
Okay, that's it. Get the out.
It's friendly Fadi Khalif, the building owner. Yeah, he's been in a bit of trouble. In fact, Fadi's on parole right now.
You can't talk to anybody. Out. Go take your camera for a minute.
Now remember, I'm trying to talk to the people at Cockrell Employment. Fadi's having none of that.
You two, put the camera there, mother.
We're trying to leave, but this guy's still on the attack. Now his security guards are protecting us from him.
Take your camera and get them out from here.
We are leaving. With one final charge, Fadi tries to cone my cameraman. As for the employment agency, the day after my visit, they bailed. Hey, look, there's one of their flyers. And look what's on the back of it. You're in the Hall of Shame. Somebody needs to clean Michael Schultz's mouth out with soap, man. This guy advertises on the internet and in the phone book under a few different names, but it's always Mike the TV guy who comes to your house. Well, Mike, I'm a TV guy too, and it's time for your broadcast premiere. Say hi to Mike the TV repair guy. Mike will come to your home to pick up your TV. Problem is, Mike doesn't seem to bring the TV back. Philip is stuck watching an old analog TV. How come? He went online and found a TV repairman that said he'd come out to his house and fix his nice 42-inch flat screen.
He took the TV, he left. That was June 1st.
Mike, the TV repairman, told Philip the set needed a new T-Com board. Total repair cost $142. He asked for a $100 deposit, wrote out this receipt, and put Philip's TV in the trunk of his car. After months of missing his HD TV, Philip finally called Mike and was told the part hadn't come in yet.
I'm wondering where he ordered this part from. It takes 2.5 months to get to you.
Phil lived through another month of analog TV.
I try to call him back, but he doesn't answer the phone. So I go out to my brother-in-law's and I call him from there. Different number, picks right up.
Mike the TV man has sad news.
I'm out of town right now. My brother passed and I'm out of town at his funeral.
Philip's an understanding guy, so he doesn't bother Mike for yet another month.
I call him from a different number again. He picks up and he tells me the same story he told me the first time. Oh, my brother just passed, and I'm out of town at his funeral. And I'm wondering to myself, how many brothers do you have that die once a month?
Philip contacted the problem solvers. We did what we usually do for a seemingly simple consumer problem. I had my producer call Mike, see if they could work things out over the phone. Mike told my producer he was at his brother's funeral, but when he got back to town, he'd call Philip and get him back his TV.
I have not ever received a call from him since he came and got the television and took my money.
So I took a drive out to the address on the receipt of Mike's TV shop, but guess what? That address doesn't exist. Stop the 37th District Courthouse in Warren. They know who Mike the TV man is. Told me people have been filing cases against him for years. Real name, Michael Schultz of Centerline. He ran a TV repair business for decades called AA1, but he's got AA100 problems now, like bankruptcies, a whole bunch of bankruptcies. He's got an F rating with the Better Business Bureau. He's also got a $25,000 judgment for not paying for his ads. And he's got other judgments from customers who pretty much say the same thing. They called Mike and he took a deposit and disappeared. Mike may show up to collect your TV and deposit money, but he doesn't seem too good at showing up for court. Here are some letters Mike wrote to a judge to get out of court claiming family emergencies when people have sued him, including this one from 2008. His reason for missing court? My brother suddenly passed away on Sunday, and I have to leave for the funeral. Hey, that's exactly what he told Philip twice this summer, and my producer this fall. Hey, Mike. How you doing? I got a guy named Philip that you were supposed to fix his TV.
Philip who?
Philip Boyd?
Yeah, we're waiting to get a part for his set, yeah. I'm gonna bring his set back to him next week. They give me his $100 back.
I don't know, man. He's been waiting a long time. My producer called you like 2 months ago.
I told him it wouldn't be till mid-December before I could bring it back. I'm gonna bring it back next week.
Mike, I know you've been in the business for a super long time. Look at all these lawsuits.
And I know about Channel 2 for a super long time, and I know about you for a super long time.
Yeah, well, tell me about me. What do you know about me? That I'm trying to get to the truth here?
No,
that I busted you? I'm busting you because you ripped this guy Philip off? And
I'm bringing his TV back. I'm going to bring him his TV back, like I said, next week.
You're a guy who's just been ripping people off for a long time.
Oh, and you haven't, huh?
Who have I ripped off?
And you haven't,
Who have I ever ripped off? Who have I ever ripped off?
How much you make a year?
What's that got to do with anything?
How much do you make a year?
What does that got to do with you ripping people off?
How much do you make a year?
Oh, you're going to call me racial things now?
Yeah, how much do you make a year?
What does that got to do with anything?
Then what are you putting your nose in my business for?
I'm putting my nose into people's business that called me and said you ripped them off.
You know how many people ripped me off?
I don't care. I'm done with Mike, but I guess he's not done with us.
You get that camera out of my face before I break it.
Nah, you're not going to do that.
I'm not?
You're not going to do that.
Don't bet on it.
Okay, whatever.
Don't bet on it.
Mike's going to hurl one more anti-Semitic slur at me. Well, make that 2 anti-Semitic slurs. And he's gone. Mike, you got a lot of issues. Maybe you could get some TV therapy in the Hall of... Mike told me he was going to bring Philip his TV set this week and give him back his money. But I talked to Philip and he says he hasn't heard from this guy ever. But I've heard from more of Mike's unhappy customers just since we started promoting this story. Leo and Sean, not exactly 2 nice boys. Leo Foster, the president of the turf team, is baffled. Why would the Hall of Shame be visiting a nice guy like him? Maybe because Leo isn't so nice with his customers.
Bring up into $1 million. Hey,
yeah, that's Leo on Fox 2 Undercover Video.
Cash on, let's bet it.
Now here's Leo's charming business partner, Sean Serino.
You stupid idiot. Get the out of here.
How in the world can these guys justify treating their customers this way?
We treat people how they treat us.
Wow, they must have a mean bunch of customers. Let's meet some. First, there's Molly and her cute little daughter, Sabrina.
The manager, whose name was Sean, heard Sabrina, and he said that he was going to call DFS on me and have my daughter taken away on charges of child abuse.
The turf team threatened Larry, too.
So he said he was going to come out here and beat my ass.
Here's how the turf team operates. They send you these flashy brochures with big savings if you pay in advance. You take a look at the brochure and you take a look at your lawn and you think, well, I wish my grass looked like that. So you give them a call and sign up for what you think is a year of fertilizer service. But surprise, the next spring, the turf team shows up again, fertilizes your lawn and leaves a bill on your door. And when you try to find out what's going on, you get to talk to Sean.
Speak like an adult. You know, let's not act like we're 3 years old here. If you're going to state a sentence, don't just state a blanket sentence, be real specific.
How come everybody keeps telling me that you treat them very poorly?
Everybody?
Yeah, Sean, everybody.
So the guy swore at you?
Oh, yeah.
Remember those flyers with the big writing saying 20% savings? Well, this little bitty writing says once you place an order with the turf team, they're your team for life.
That is, unless you cancel, but they make that real difficult. See, you can't do it by phone the way you can order the service. It's gotta be in writing. Plus, you can only cancel during the months of December and January, like you're really thinking about your lawn then. But the turf team is kind of like a bad case of weeds. No matter what you do, these guys keep on popping up. So what do you say we pop in on the turf team?
I sent an undercover cameraman along with a turf team customer named Eric.
In my perspective, if I didn't authorize something and you're trying to bill me, then that would be just... No, sir, I did not.
We don't sign up anybody for stuff they didn't ask you.
That appears to be as much of an explanation as Eric is gonna get.
I don't want to hear any word out of your mouth unless it's, I want to pay by cash, check, or charge.
Eric mentions he's reported the turf team to the Attorney General's office and that they told him Leo Foster's been in trouble before for similar problems.
You better not start talking about you don't know what you're talking about.
You don't need to use language like that.
Don't write checks you can't ask, can't cash.
Hey, you better watch who you start talking about.
Let's see who's got balls. That's all. Let's see who's got balls.
Is this the turf team or the turf gang?
This is a cease and desist order from the Attorney General's office for a company called Organic Lawns.
The Attorney General told this company's employees they couldn't even set foot on a customer's property to provide services the customer didn't want. And in fact, they made company officers promise to stop that practice and a whole bunch of other things customers complained about. And guess who one of the company officers who signed the document was? Leo Foster. Armed with specific facts, I go to the turf team's Livonia offices. They tell me Leo's not in, but look, there's his car. So I try again a few minutes later.
Oh, they got the door locked.
Finally, Leo Foster must have realized I wasn't going away. Yet Sean does most of the talking.
All I ask is that you make an appointment. I'm here every day of the week.
Why make an appointment? I'm here right now.
Sean's big on specifics. Listen.
Why are you so much smarter than everybody else? You seem to tell people they're stupid. You got to lead them by the hand through life. Are you some kind of, are you an attorney?
Let's be specific.
Okay, let's be specific.
Now I start reading some of the things from the Attorney General's decision on organic lawns.
Respondents have provided persons in Michigan with goods and services that were not requested. Respondents have ignored requests by consumers to discontinue providing goods and services.
What's
Respondents
that have to do with him?
Because that's the same kind of complaint you have now. It's the exact same. And look at this, Leo. You signed a thing that said you weren't going to do that anymore. You signed and said you weren't going to do this kind of practices, and you guys are doing the exact same thing.
No.
With that, Leo just walks away, and Sean leaves me with his favorite comeback.
Be specific.
I was being specific. Okay, Sean, I'm going to be real specific now. You and Leo and the rest of the turf team are in the Hall of Shame.
John Kraft. More like John Crap. This is Katie and Sean. Katie works at a bank. Sean is a disabled veteran who served in Afghanistan. Last year, Katie posted to a Facebook page that she needed some bedrooms built in her basement for her kids. She got a message from a guy named John Kraft.
I'm a contractor looking to reach out on my own. I'd love to have a house that I can make a showpiece.
Wow, perfect. John drew up a proposal and the couple accepted it. Within the first few weeks of the project, they paid John Kraft $10,000. John had a good crew and things were going well. So they paid him more money. Then it all changed. There was now no crew, just John.
We started seeing him every day, and then every other day, and then 4 hours a day, twice a week, and then it was every other week.
Even though Sean and Katie had now paid John more than $20,000, he said he needed more money for materials and told Sean,
if I pay more, this is going to hurt my family. What about our family?
He put up the
Frame
with the refrigerator in here, and you can't even get it out.
No.
Katie contacted the Hall of Shame, and I sure remember John.
This is a contract, and you're not a licensed contractor, dude.
John was already on probation for false pretenses, and after that story aired, Kraft was arrested and pled guilty to violating probation. After that, Kraft was back in more trouble, pleading guilty to felony embezzlement. I tried to talk to him before he went to court, but he blew his stack.
Get the out of my face.
John was chastised by the judge.
You are an unrepentant and serial con artist.
Kraft was sentenced to 1 to 5 years in state prison. He got out. He got in more trouble. In 2013, he pled guilty to felony larceny. And then last year, he pled guilty to taking money under false pretenses and working as an unlicensed residential builder. Time for me to have a relaxing chat with John Kraft.
Hey, John Kraft, how you doing? What you been up to lately?
Get away from me. Get the away from me now.
Hey.
No,
John,
get out of my
John,
face.
Hey,
I've had enough of you.
John,
I've done nothing wrong.
John.
I have done nothing wrong.
John,
get out of my face.
John.
Get out of my face. You're pushing me past my limits.
Okay, look.
Get out of my face.
Can I talk to you?
No.
I haven't even had a chance to say anything yet, but John knows why I'm here.
You got me so I swear to God.
Okay, man, just calm down.
No, you don't understand, dude. You have no idea what I've been through with it. Okay. No clue.
Well, show me
like
this.
to the point I'm ready to snap and break someone's neck.
Well, I don't want my neck snapped, but I do need to mention that one of the things John's on probation for right now is working as an unlicensed contractor.
Right? I was working as a guy to do some work on her basement.
That's a proposal. That looks like a contract, right?
But she knew I was not licensed.
I don't think that matters, John. Does it?
I'm a guy making a living, and you've made it so hard for me to try to get work.
I made it hard for you. You keep getting yourself arrested.
This gets Kraft cranky.
You got nothing better to do with your time. Someone's going to kick your I swear to God.
Why have you continued to get in trouble?
You know what? Now you're just...
I'm just asking you. John,
out of my face.
Don't hit me. You're on probation, man. You'll get in big trouble.
At this point, it's almost worth it.
No, come on.
I've done nothing wrong to this woman, except for couldn't get the job done in the time that.
Okay.
The only thing I do.
Okay.
That's the only thing. And I would take that camera and show what you're for being next to her.
I would just make sure those people were taken care of as best I could, especially because...
But I'm not giving her back $25,000. That's what you got to understand. That's about all the money she gave me, and I got months into that project. I got subcontractors that were paid, guys that I brought in to help me, labor paid out. I'm not giving her back $25,000, and now she's trying to sue me for $45,000.
It still sounds like you're pretending to be a contractor, though.
No, I was not pretending. She knew I was not a licensed contractor working on that project.
John's been busted for this before.
Yeah, okay. I got caught up in an unlicensed builder situation, which was the funniest. It was a law in the first place.
John doesn't like the law, and wouldn't you know it, I'm the guy that helped get it passed. That's me with Governor Jennifer Granholm signing the bill into law. I'm guessing John won't like me even more after seeing this video.
This, because you're going to paint me any way you can paint me to make me look bad. I know this.
I don't have to paint you any special way to make you look bad. You keep getting arrested, John. You keep getting in trouble. I keep getting contacted by people. I got no beef with you personally. I don't want to chase you around.
John, you've truly mastered the craft of making it into the Hall of Shame.
John admits he was a bad guy 10 years ago, but says he's a changed man. Problem is, he's been convicted of several felonies since then, and he sure didn't seem like he'd changed much when he came at me.
Bob Vayu has a hot date, and it's in the Hall of Shame. Bob runs an expensive matchmaking business with some very unhappy customers called Amore International.
When you pay lots of bucks, but your love life still sucks, that's Amore.
First, let's go inside and find out why people sign up. I sent an unmarried, undercover cameraman into the Amore office in Okemos.
In Michigan, we have over 15,000 members.
Our potential dater is asked what he's looking for in a woman.
Smoker, non-smoker, have a preference? Income level? What age range would you like to meet? What about height range? Do you have a preference there?
Now they're going to find you a match, right? Well, meet Ethan. Ethan paid Amore $1,300 to find him some compatible dating partners. His first date from Amore never even answered the phone.
So you never even talked to her?
No.
Ethan's next date wouldn't go out with him because he's divorced. She'd specifically asked Amore not to set her up with anyone divorced. Ethan didn't want to go out with anyone with kids. He says Amore kept setting him up with single moms. After almost a year of trying, Ethan had no love left for Amore. So you never got one date?
Never got one date.
You never even met anybody?
Never even met anybody.
Ethan is still lonely, but he's not alone when it comes to what happened to him.
I decided to go and check out what the service is all about.
And you found out the service is about $2,600, right?
Right.
Manny paid $2,600 for 24 dates. He got 3.
You didn't get even one date that was good.
Was even close.
Here's what Amore told Val.
These are quality people, engineers, doctors, lawyers, whatever.
She never even went on a date.
The leads were not at all like I said I wanted.
Val, Manny, and Ethan all wanted their money back, but Bob wouldn't hear of it. They went to the Attorney General's office, and Ethan took it a step further. He sued. More about that in a minute. First, let's track down our cranky Cupid.
Bob! Rob Wolchek from Fox 2. How are you?
Bob is surprised to see me. He's been avoiding me for months, even though he promised me an interview.
Well, how come you never contacted me after I talked to your lawyer? You were going to talk to me. Fill me in on your business.
Well, my lawyer called you,
Mm-hmm.
and he said we'd make an appointment,
Yeah?
and we'd get together.
Well, you never made the appointment.
Well, he called you. You never called him back.
I sure as heck did. I talked to him.
I just want a few answers from Bob. Bob just seems to be fishing for a fight.
Do I look like an idiot? Why are you such a putz?
I'm not taking the bait. His assistant steps in and she and I begin a polite conversation. But watch Bob. He'll have none of that.
Lock the camera.
Hey,
You're not taking the camera.
Hey, Bob.
My producer and I try to keep Bob from attacking our cameraman. Bob turns his vengeance on my producer.
Who are you?
Hey, Bob, settle down now.
I calm Bob down long enough to get a few answers from him.
What happened with Ethan Wolf?
He was paid off.
He was paid off, but you didn't want to pay him off, right?
No, we went to court. We had a valid claim. He lied in court, and he happened to win.
Bob rattled off that answer in the heat of anger. So to be fair, I agreed to sit down with him a few days later when he was calmer. And I asked him again, what about Ethan Wolf?
Again, when he got the judgment and he won, we paid.
Wait a second. Who's lying now? Bob only sent Ethan half the money he was ordered to pay by the judge. Plus, Bob sent Ethan this contract that he expected him to sign before he'd pay him the rest of the money. Can Bob do that? I talked to the judge and he said no way. After my chat, Ethan refused to sign and Bob had to pay anyway.
Looks like Bob's singing the blues, but I'm singing a different tune.
When your love life's still lame and Amore's to blame,
They go in the Hall of Shame.
Joe Yaquinto, the ripoff pro.
This guy sells cars using a fake Facebook page. He takes photos of the vehicles in front of random houses. He goes out of his way to throw his unhappy customers off his trail. So I went out of my way to nail him. This is Michael's car. While it may look nice, it's not.
So it's a full-on piece of junk.
Mike got the car off Facebook Marketplace. The seller, John Killey. Here's the messaging. Hi, John. Is this still available? Of course. Good car. John and Michael meet at this Subway in Warren where John Killey says he takes his lunch.
Where do you work at, John? And he said, I repair machines for Chrysler, which I don't think he does. Okay. And
Because you said he had no socks on.
he had rubber clog shoes on with no socks.
Like Crocs?
Crocs.
It's bad enough John Killey has god-awful taste in footwear. He also told this god-awful lie.
It's a one-owner vehicle. Me and my wife bought it new.
John Killey was in such a hurry to get back to work, Michael didn't even have time to test drive the car.
He's the smoothest talking guy you ever meet in your life.
John Killey talked Mike into giving him $300 cash to hold the car. He wrote out this janky-looking receipt, but signed his name John Esquibo. Mike didn't even notice.
I thought the guy was nice.
Later that night, John delivered the car to Michael at his house. Michael gave him $3,700 cash. John handed Mike the title and hurried off in his Crocs. Immediately, Michael knew he'd been duped.
It's got an oil leak. It's got a water leak.
He ran a Carfax on the vehicle, which original owner, John Killey, sold him.
And as you can see in the Carfax, it's not a one-owner vehicle. He just purchased it 2 weeks before he sold it to me.
Boy, what a lie.
And according to the Secretary of State, it was purchased for $500 as a scrap vehicle, purchased and then sold for $4,000 to Michael by a guy named Joseph Anthony Yaquinto. Yep, John Killey is this guy. Joe Yaquinto is a lifelong fraud fella. According to the state police, in the 90s he was convicted of larceny by conversion. In the 2000s, he racked up a felony false pretenses over $20,000 conviction, a felony motor vehicle intent to pass false title conviction, a felony odometer tampering conviction, and in the 2010s, another false pretenses felony conviction. Joe Yaquinto didn't have a good address. The place listed on the title of the lemon he sold Michael was his wife's house.
Does he work at a car dealership or something?
I apologize. He's a strange.
Meanwhile, Joe, a.k.a. John Killey, was still selling cars. Every few weeks, I came across Facebook Marketplace ads. The ads were only up for a few minutes. I'm guessing once John Killey got a fish on the line, he took down the bait. After all, he's got a bunch of bad reviews. The photos of the cars John Killey was selling seemed to be taken in the same place. It looked like Warren, maybe near 8 Mile, close to the subway John Killey met Michael at. After weeks of driving up and down Warren streets, trying to match up houses to the photos, we found the location.
Yeah, this street is full of really nice houses and really nice people. None of the neighbors I spoke to told me they knew who Joe Yaquinto was, but they did tell me they had surveillance systems. And if they saw some random dude taking pictures of cars, they would contact me.
And Friday, Joe showed. Here he is taking pictures of a gold minivan. An hour later, that van is listed for sale by John Killey, who wanted to meet my undercover car customer at the same subway he met Michael.
Well, let me just tell you what happened. My father-in-law got his license taken away, and he's had it for a long, long time, and he just can't drive no more.
Okay.
Yeah, John Killey's just a guy selling his father-in-law's van.
That's the only reason why, and he doesn't have much longer to live.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, it's the only reason why we're getting rid of it. You don't have to do nothing to it.
The buyer gets in the driver's seat, but I'm taking the wheel.
Open up. John Killey? Hey, John, are you John Killey?
John Killey?
Yeah, John Killey. Aren't you the guy selling the car?
No, I don't know who you are.
Oh? You're not John Killey?
No.
Okay, so, well, he contacted a guy named John Killey about this car. This guy.
The car buyer gets out. Joe's ready to hit the road.
I know you're Joe Yaquinto, and you're running a scam here, Joe. Why don't you talk to me?
We ain't running no scam. Okay, if you don't give me my keys back, we got a problem.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Where'd you get this car? So here's a bunch of your cars. You say your name's John Killey, right? You say your name is John Killey.
You're
okay.
wrong. I don't know who you are.
I'm Ron Wolchek from Fox 2. You do know who I am.
Joe's busy trying to get away from one TV camera, and out comes another TV camera. Yep, Joe, your customer is a cameraman.
I ain't telling you nothing.
Oh, you're just getting... Okay, so listen. Joe, we know you're a
fraud
guy.
I am, and you got my keys, okay?
Nobody's got your damn keys, dude.
See you guys later, man. I don't even know who you are.
Phil, well, here, let me give you a key. You took money from a guy downriver and you sold him a Lincoln MKZ.
Okay,
here's my card. You better close your door. Well, that ain't something you see every day. A dude driving away with his door open. Hey, Joe, what do you know? You're in the Hall of Shame. Joe did have a state auto dealer license at one time, and according to the Secretary of State, he hasn't had a complaint since 2005. Officials say that's when he chose not to renew his license because the department was taking administrative action to revoke it. Crooked Seth Curran takes a big ol' L. Customers told me Contractor Seth had taken their money to build them fences and then bailed. That's me chasing Seth through a Lowe's garden center in June of 2020. Here's a lawsuit right here. Whoa, where are you going? No, you stop and talk to me, Seth. Come on.
I don't want to be on the news.
Seth, you've been... No, it's not. What's against the law is what you've been doing. You were arrested 6 times last year, Seth. Weren't you?
Even though I put Seth in the Hall of Shame back then, I guess he didn't learn his lesson. This is Jim. He says last May he hired Seth to build a fence for his backyard in Fraser.
When he came out to the house, he seemed like a really good guy.
A good guy who Jim gave $2,800 as a down payment on the job. But Seth didn't build the fence.
Kept going back and forth. Then it was nonstop excuses.
Finally, last fall, Jim Googled Seth Churin and came up with my Hall of Shame story.
As soon as I seen your story, I contacted Fraser Police.
Sergeant Ben Hoppy investigated the complaint on Churin.
He's never put in the fence, never had any intention of putting in the fence.
So he's done nothing?
Nothing.
So, Seth was arrested. Last week, he was arraigned on Zoom in front of Judge Bodeker in 39th District Court in Roseville. He's charged with felony taking money under false pretenses over $1,000. The judge says Seth is a danger to society and sets bond at $50,000, no 10%. But even with a super high bail, somehow Seth bonds out. And while I'm at the police station to interview the detective on Seth's latest charges, Seth shows up to claim his property. And right out of the gate, he's swinging for the fences.
Rob Wolchek, what Fox do?
What's that? Get the f*** away from me now, I'm gonna knock your
No, you get the hey. You're gonna get arrested for assault,
I'm
man.
not touching you. I didn't touch you.
Well, you hit my mic. Listen,
I didn't touch you. Get away from me.
Okay. So why are you keep on ripping people off, Seth?
Why is he doing this? I just want to leave. I've got my property. I just want to leave. I didn't touch him. I didn't touch him.
Palms together.
Why are you guys doing it? I didn't touch him.
Interlace your fingers.
I didn't touch him for assault. I did not touch his hand or nothing. I didn't touch him. You guys are doing this for no reason. I didn't hit him. I didn't hit him. I didn't touch him. It's on camera. I didn't touch him. And I didn't touch the guy. I didn't touch the guy. He doesn't do it on purpose, man. Yeah, you are.
And with that, the officers lead him back inside the cop shop, where once again, Seth Churin will be fenced in.
Here's something nobody's on the fence about. Seth, you're in the Hall of Shame. Detective Hoppy from Fraser Police says Churin has been charged with assault and battery under the city ordinance for his outburst in front of the police station.
Hit that like button and subscribe.